And you know what it smells like?
Pickle juice?
No, it smells like good old plastic. Because we're talking basketball. It smells orange. It smells like Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the WNBA. NBA got honorable mention, but no, the news is here. The WNBA is back, baby. So we're going to give you a rundown of the draft that happened last Monday. I hope you caught my coverage. That was crazy. Very proud of myself for sticking with it because it was getting, the phone was dying. It was disappointing when Georgia Amore, but we'll get into it. And then we're going to give you a little sneak peek preview of the season, which is, again, starting very soon. So, Sam, coming off of UConn's massive national championship, the expected great Paige Bueckers goes number 1 to the Dallas Wings. How about that?
Shout out. Yep, they lose a legend in Luka in Dallas, but, they're getting one right back. Paige Bueckers, she's just been great. She was out with an injury last year or the year before, so.
Year before, tore ACL.
Yeah, but she came back and absolutely dominated this year, and it'll be interesting to see, how she does in Dallas.
I mean, yeah, some might say she was Paige Bueckers was that girl before Caitlin Clark was. And it was just unfortunate that Paige Bueckers got hurt. She could have, if everything would have gone well, she would have been in the draft last year. And I'll just say, Paige can shoot it from anywhere on the court. She doesn't have to go left. But I will not get into that quite yet. Maybe another episode. But she will join Enrique Agumbawale, Jenny Carrington, Maisha Hines-Allen, who came over from the Lynx. Their championship run team didn't win. So that's going to be exciting. I do think it'll be great for Dallas. They finally got a good player back after a very tenuous year and a half, like month and a half after our boy Luka left. I saw a funny thing that was like Nico was already pushing to have a trade for Angel Reese overnight. But second, I think is very interesting because I didn't know her. Could have, should have, but I didn't.
Could have.
Is a French player by the name of Dominique Malonga. She goes second to the Storm and is a very scary player. She can actually, well, not actually, because like a couple people can't dunk, but she can get up there. She gets lifted. She is off the ground. She doesn't need a couple steps. She can take it in one and she can put it down your throat. And a lot of the girls are already saying they're a little scared of being the first NBA player to get dunked on. It's been a good little Twitter fight going back and forth between the ladies. Sydney Colston thinks it might be her, but the baby is 5'5", so it's definitely not. She's not going to be defending her. And yeah, she actually played the U.S. in the Olympic finals. She's a great player. So I know there were a couple French players last year that were drafted in the first round, didn't show up. So I'm a little confused how this international ball works, but whatever. And then the Mystics come in. Horrible team last year. Absolutely bad. Just bad all around. I mean, it's unfortunate that DC just has nothing good going on for them, but they had 3 picks this year. And one of them is Georgia Amore out of
Kentucky
via Virginia Tech. One of the best players, I think, other than Paige Bueckers in this draft, definitely point guard. And coming off the board, I really wanted her to go to the Sky, but that's fine because we eventually get Haley Van Lith. If you were catching the story, last Monday, I called it. And first I called it wrong, but then I called it right because they had the back-to-back picks, the Chicago Sky, and they went with this girl, I think from Lithuania, and it was a bit of a bummer to hear that name be called instead of Haley Van Lith because I had really put a lot online with the Instagram story making that pick. But then I was redeemed. But other than that, Anissa Morrow goes 7th, LSU, a lovely lady, to Connecticut Sun. And unfortunately, I don't know how that's going to play out because the Connecticut Sun is the most decimated team right now. Decimated, yeah. Team right now, probably in the WNBA. Instead of making any good moves in, they sent all of their good players out. Stephanie White is out to the Fever. So it's looking like Anissa Morrow's gonna have to play some 1-on-5 ball. Well, she has what's her name? Marina Maybury, Dad's favorite player. Talk about a girl that can hustle. That's Marina Maybury. Yeah, that's it. So, Sam, you were busy that eve. But what was your take?
My take,
Go ahead.
Sorry, I blanked again. Like everyone knew Paige was going to go first, and it's interesting to see where everyone popped up. I was looking over the draft picks again, and it kind of just realized to me that the reigning champion, the Liberty, they only made one pick this year because maybe they don't need a pick. They had the very last pick, and yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be fun once everything gets going, seeing how all these people mesh. I was curious with Haley Van Lith and Angel Reese. Was there bad blood when they were at LSU, or was that something I'm misremembering?
I think you might be remembering my take on it.
Okay.
I had bad blood.
Because Haley Van Lith, she transferred after the title run.
Yeah, over to TCU.
Yeah.
She came in after we won in 2023. Supposed to be our point guard. And she had a really, really good regular season. And then when we get to the March Madness, it's like the girl forgot how to play basketball and to run point. Like it was happens. Turnover city, missing shots, probably had like 8 points a game when she was averaging like 16. And if you don't have a point guard and you're giving the coffin the ball up, like I'm sure she left because of how hard Kim Mulkey was riding her on the side of the court because of how bad she was playing. It was really like a James Harden situation where you're great, and then all of a sudden you're bad and your team really relies on you and you lose.
So any bad blood I was remembering just a couple of minutes ago, that was, kind of hate coming from you. Is what
100%. Yes. I do believe they are still friends.
Okay. They're, teammates again, so
the problem was not between Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith. It was between me and Haley Van Lith, which no one cares about. But I'll be in Chicago this summer, so I'm super excited to watch those two go back at it. Like I said, the Chicago Sky needed a point guard pretty bad. So we'll see if she can fix that problem or if we'll have a repeat of the 2024 March Madness tournament. Haley, you're on watch. I'm rooting for you, but we're gonna need a good showing, baby. Second, the season preview. Season starts officially May 16th. Preseason starts May 2nd. And I think we're kind of in a sticky middle area between how fast the college season ends and how fast it begins versus the NFL season beginning and the college season ending. Because it's maybe 3 weeks for the WNBA and it's like 5 months for, the NFL. And it could be, I think there's a happy medium between those days because preseason starts the 2nd. They got drafted on the 18th of April. These people don't, they're still staying in hotels. They just got there,
And then, they might not even make the final roster, by the 16th when it starts.
You don't even know where to find coffee in your neighborhood yet. You're still searching for the good place that has the fine deals and the coffee's not too acidic, or you like matcha, but they don't have, oat. They only have almond. There's not enough time for that. And if you can't find your coffee shop as a 22-year-old girl, what are you
going to even play well?
You have no stability in life.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
We're starting the discussion.
And not all the girls were there. They're like, oh, I'm drafted now. Shit. I was planning on, going to Cabo with mom and dad and granny. Sorry, you guys, got to cancel. And, there's some of the parents are like, yeah, that's great. And then some of the parents are like, this was non-refundable. Paige will be playing on the 2nd. We'll get to see her. Players in the WNBA typically do play in preseason games. It's not like the NFL where we won't see the talent We will see a lot of the bench players and the people making the team, but we'll still see, like our B-level stars. And we'll also get our first look at the Valkyries, which I'm super excited about. Valkyries, new team in San Francisco, the Bay Area. So they say, decent name, not pumped. Everyone thinks their logo and color is really good, but it's just purple with like V situation as the logo.
The Golden Gate.
It's fine.
Imagery is kind of in there.
Could have been better. I need to revisit our show when we came up with all of those good names. You had the sickest names.
Yeah. One was for like, Toronto.
Yeah.
The like Velocity.
The Velocity.
What did that end up being?
It's really close. Tempo. It's like the Turbo. Yeah. The Tempo. Yeah, there we go. Man, wouldn't you hate to be on that team and you're on the line? They're like, keep up the tempo. You're on the tempo, run faster. What are you doing? Do you even want to be on this team? It's like being on the Pacers. When the Pacers were in the conference final and all they could, like, just the Pacers played fast. So they're like, man, the Pacers are playing with such pace. And it's like, you guys really need a thesaurus, all these broadcasters, because it's getting old. But anyways, we'll also, and then the May 16th, the first day, we'll feature the Wings versus the Lynx, and also the Sparks with new Kelsey Plum and the Valkyries.
That's true.
Which will feature Kate Martin and Tiffany Hayes, which came from also the Aces. I'm pretty sure that's right. But then the big girls will be playing Saturday. We'll have the Aces and the Liberty rematch of the finals 2 years ago. We'll see Asia Wilson coming out with some new shoes. The ones, hoping I can cop some, 5'6", coming out. It's tough to leave your job and then a really expensive pair of pink shoes comes out. And it's like, well, that doesn't seem like a good thing for me to buy. And then the Sky versus the Fever, of course. Major matchup, again, with this made-up beef between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. But the Fever has definitely turned over, like me with Shador Sanders, 180 from last season. They're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I could see them actually making a deep run in the playoff if Caitlin can find her shot early in the season. Get some.
She's had a year,
early wins in the early wins in the win column. Yeah, if they get under 500 like immediately, I think it'll be hard to crawl back. But Sam, I don't know. I think everyone's super excited about the Lassies this season going in. I mean, Paige's hometown is freaking out about her.
That's true. May 16th also, their hometown, they're just so excited for Paige that they're renaming the town to Paige Bueckers, Minnesota, just for the day. And then that's also going to be Paige Bueckers Day going forward every May 16th.
When I read that, I thought it was forever.
That same, yeah.
And I was like,
whoa.
Quite a reaction. It's kind of like Colorado retiring Shador Sanders jersey, and he hasn't even been drafted yet, and don't know if he's going to be a good player. I mean, you could have given him 2 years. Even if he was bad in the NFL, like you could.
I feel maybe I don't know. I feel like renaming a town not as big of a deal as retiring a number.
100%. It's like dog mayor.
Yeah. Here's our dog, Mr. Woofy. He's the mayor.
Mr. Woofy. But then it's like, welcome to Paige Bueckers town. Home of Paige Bueckers and Paige Bueckers family. And also we're in Minnesota. So like population of 2,000.
It's true.
What does it matter?
Shout out the Midwest, Paige. You're going to go off, get down to Texas. You've been Midwest, Northeast now. Texas.
You're ready for real culture. Welcome. It's going to be scary at first, but, you got style. You got attitude. I think you'll fit right in. Just say thank you and please and ma'am and sir, and you'll fit right in. So also don't ask for, like, tea at a restaurant hot. No one does that. And get ice and everything. That's all I have to say.